my evening routine, kind of what I do. People ask me all the time, like, what's your, because I talk a lot about evening and morning routine, guys. I'm really big on evening and morning routine because, like, if you mess these up, like, your whole day's messed up. I don't even not, and it's not just the morning, it's actually the evening. So your morning routine starts the evening before, okay? So, like, your evening routine is still your morning routine. And it's so big to make sure that you're completely dialed in to those two because if you don't, you're just going to be thrown off. And it just sucks. Like when one thing can throw you off, like anything can throw you off. So, what I do for my evening routine, guys, is I put my kids down around 8:30. Well, 8:15. They're down by 8:30. Okay. And then I typically hang out on the couch for like another maybe 15 minutes. In that 15 minutes, I go ahead and plug my food in for the next day. So I typically have another one. Mindy, what's up? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a heart. So typically, I have an idea of what I'm going to be eating for the next day. And guys, honestly, you all really should. Like, think about it. How crazy is your day to day? Okay, as I say that, I'm thinking like, okay, people do have crazy days, but it's because you make it crazy. Okay, if you have an idea of like what you're gonna eat for the next day, it's not gonna be that crazy. Okay, so you need to think about what leftovers do I have? What can I make real quick? Did I meal prep? I don't ever meal prep, guys, but like I always have food in the fridge ready to go, right? And that's, I mean, you can call that meal prepping, but so I plug those numbers into my day. Okay, the other thing I do is because I work out by myself. I look at what my workout's going to be for the next day. Okay, I don't leave that up for chance. Most of you guys, if you're going off the Trainerize app, you can go ahead and go in there and look and see what's going to be. Maybe you want to switch some things up. Maybe you want to do something different. But thinking ahead of time and having an idea for your day is going to make you successful. Okay. So once I get done doing those two things, then I go take a shower, and I get in bed. Okay. And I so I tell you guys to shut off your electronics. So I get off my phone about 9:30, 9:45. I won't look at it again after that time because I know if something comes up, it's gonna throw me off and it's gonna mess up my sleep. Okay, because like sometimes I have people texting me like stuff in the middle of the night, not in the middle of the night, but like right when I'm about to go to bed, like just something that is gonna bug me enough to like mess up my sleep. Okay, so I won't even look at my stuff after like 9:30 or whatever. What's up, Eric? Thanks, man. Um, so that's another thing you guys should do is cut off the electronics and really just your phone, honestly. So like your TV, yeah, it has blue, what's it called? Blue light coming from it, and it might throw off your sleep a little bit. Honestly, for me, the TV helps me go to sleep because it helps me shut off my brain. Okay, but like the phone, I gotta get rid of that thing because I'm gonna get a message. Or I'm gonna be scrolling Facebook. Something's gonna trigger me. Something's gonna make me think about something that I don't need to think about, like right before bed, right? You really have to protect that mind space, and you really have to protect your own routine. Okay, like it has to be locked in, dialed in. Okay, um, so I watch. I watch like a sitcom right before I go to bed because that really helps me just shut off my brain. It's dumb. It's kind of funny. Like it just makes me to a point where like I can just relax and fall asleep, right? But another thing we do, and shout out to Angelo because I was talking to Angelo. He says for like the last year he gets up at like 2:30 in the morning, can't go back to sleep. And I said we need to look at your routine, man. Like what's your routine looking like? And sometimes he's working out when he gets home off work. So now he's like his blood pressure is up there, his heart rate's up there, like everything's up there right before he's trying to tell his body to go to sleep. So he's been working on just working out in the morning now, having energy throughout the day, and then being like very, very physically tired when he goes to bed. Okay, because that's how you got to be when you get to that bed, guys. Like you got to be almost exhausted. Okay, and if you're not, then you're not getting up early enough. Okay, because you have too much. You still have too much energy, right? So like when I my head hits that pillow, like it takes me about 30 good minutes. I just watch my show, and like halfway through the show, I'm like dozing off, and I'm like, okay, this is great because you guys know what it feels like when you don't. Like, let's say you watch a show, you watch two shows, you're like, shit, I'm still not tired. Like, I hate that feeling because I'm like, I'm not gonna get a good sleep right now. So, but when I start dozing off, I love it. Just shut the TV off and I go right to sleep. Okay. But the other part of that is I have to get up. Okay. And getting up is the hardest part. I was talking to Angela about this. Like every morning, I think about not getting up. Okay, and I've been doing this for years now. Um, so one little key thing for getting up is I set my alarm clock across the room. Okay, so I physically have to get up to shut that alarm clock off. Okay, Mindy said grilled chicken is my friend. Yeah, sometimes that's the easiest thing, right? So I have to get up to shut my alarm clock off. Okay, that wakes me up enough to where if I go back to bed, and I always do, I always go back to my bed because I'm like, man, I want that extra whatever. Just a little mind trick. And then I'm already up, so I'll just get up. Okay, but like I never choose a day like I'm just gonna sleep in. Even on the weekends, guys, I'm still up within an hour of my regular time, okay? Because these cycles are what keeps you regulated, and every time you throw that cycle off, it takes even longer, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to get back on that cycle, okay? So if you have a cycle of like every day on Monday through Friday, you're getting up at the same time, but then the weekends, you're like, hey, I'm gonna sleep until 10 a.m. Like and then Monday night you can't go back to sleep. Like that's it. That's your evening and your morning routine, and that's why it's being so difficult for you. So you got to make sure have the discipline to have a good night routine, to have a good morning routine, and then making sure that you're sticking to that. Okay, because when you're thrown off like that, like we all know what it feels like out there having a long night of drinking. Yes, the drinking throws us off, but it's also just staying up for later than we're used to and then sleeping in for later than we're used to. So you really have to be regulated on this stuff, guys, because it's so big. Like anytime my night routine is off, my morning sucks. Anytime my morning sucks, like my whole day's kind of just off. Okay. And I don't like that. I really like having good days and feeling good all day long. Like I honestly believe like if you aren't feeling great like 90% of your day, 90% of your life, like you're doing something wrong. Like you should always really feel good, guys. Like and every day is not gonna be perfect. There's no such thing. But like you should always feel good about not only yourself, but like you physically, mentally, all of that's okay. And if you're failing, that's okay. It takes a while to build up that momentum and get that routine, okay? But the other thing to kind of segue into that, guys, is like, why is this worth it? Okay, like I know some of the stuff we have you do is like, man, this kind of sucks, and in the back of your head, you're like, I'm probably gonna keep this up for a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna try to do it on my own, or I'm gonna be done, or whatever. Like the thing is like I was watching one of my favorite shows before I went to bed, and it was Two and a Half Men. It's an old show, but I think it's hilarious, and it's just one of those things that makes me not think, right? And it was about the brothers, and they had one of them had a new girlfriend, and this girlfriend was like a super good cook, and they were eating all her food, and they were getting fat, right? And they had them like they had big bellies and all that. It was pretty freaking hilarious. But what was I gonna say? Basically, they're all fat and like don't feel good about themselves and stuff. And I was just thinking, like, man, it's so good to like just live this lifestyle because like yeah there's days where I like to like not worry about how much food I'm putting in my body, you know. I'd like to just pig out on some things I want, but at the end of the day, like being able to walk in front of the mirror and look at myself and feel good about myself is just so much more worth than that quick simple extra whatever I want, right? And I talk to people every day where they're like, man, I look, you know, I pass a window or I pass the mirror, or I won't look in the mirror because I just hate myself. And it's like, if you're walking around hating yourself, like you gotta switch something, okay? And that starts with the inner work that you want to do on yourself, okay? Because like you should never live that life. Like you should really love yourself and be able to look yourself in the mirror every day and be happy about what you see. Maybe you're not there right now, but like if you continue working on yourself, you're going to be happy at some point, okay? But if you continue down a path where every day is different and you don't care and then you do care, like you care, okay, but how much do you care? You care enough to change it, okay? And that's what I don't think anybody should feel like that. And if you feel like that, like you're putting it on yourself, so you need to do the work that's going to change that, okay? And that's tough to do sometimes, but like I said, you should look in the mirror and you should be happy with the person you see like all the time, right? And if you're not there, like you know, a couple years ago, I probably wasn't there, but like I did the work, so now I'm like I'm super happy with what I see in the mirror. I still got goals. I still want to lean up more and put on some more muscle and things like that. But for like right now, I'm very happy. So Doing the work is what gives you the gratification, guys. It's not having the body or having the health. It's doing the work. The work. That's where it's at. Like in the process of doing the work. So cool, guys. Hope you had a good day. Lock in those evening and morning routines. If you're thrown off, I guarantee like a lot of it can come back to those evening and morning routines. Okay, because if you have a plan of attack for each day, and it's not even that hard to plan your day because like every day doesn't really change that much, guys. And if it does, it's like you're doing it to yourself. So I saw a good quote the other day that was like, I don't say no because I'm so busy. I say no because I don't want to be so busy, right? And that really struck a chord with me. I'm like, yeah, I tell people no all the time, like especially if it's something that's just like it's not going to serve me, it's not going to serve my goals. I'm just going to tell you no. Like even if they want to pay me for it or something, I'm like that's not really worth my time, because me, you can never get time back, guys. So like saying no is an incredible empowerment because like you only have so much time. Okay, so like you got to be able to do the things that you want to do and not be stressed out and not like feel like you need to just like do everything all the time every single day. That's why you're probably where you're at, right? You need to figure out the structure of your life. Okay, that takes some work, especially for us unorganized people. Cool, guys. Hope you're having a great Monday. Stay motivated. Fill those sheets out every day. Fill it out the day ahead. I always say plan your tomorrow today. My sheets, my fitness pal is going to be filled out tonight. I'm already going to know what I'm going to do for my workout tomorrow. I'm going to look forward to it. It's going to be exciting. Like, it's fun, guys, once you get into it. So, have a good rest of your day, guys. We'll see you soon. Remember, hashtag live if you're watching it live. Replay, hashtag replay if you're watching it after the fact. We'll see you soon.